Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And we are going to start talking about Heroes of the Sagas. This is coming from the new book, Northlands Worldbook. There's the cover art there. We are going to be talking about the path of the Titan Barbarian, which I actually like this. I read through it. I thought about it a little bit. I didn't like it at first, but after I read through a few things, there's a couple of abilities that this barbarian gets that are pretty awesome. So we're going to look through the barbarian. We're going to match this up with the path of the barbarian as the barbarian levels up. We're going to talk about the different abilities that this barbarian, the path of the Titan, gets and why it is good and why some of them are not so great. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere. All right, before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Don't forget to hype this video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. I said notification bell twice because I really want you to hit it. All right, so Barbarian, Path of the Titan. Couple things right off the bat. What I am looking for in a good subclass is something that is going to complement the primary base class well. So we are going to start out talking about the Barbarian, and this is not a review of the Barbarian, but we're going to go over the Barbarian's class features that they get for the first few levels until we get to the path of the Titan. And so we're going to look at what you get before you get your subclass, and then we're going to look at the subclass itself, and as we go through Barbarian, how those different abilities are going to complement that. All right, so level 1, we get the Rage. We get the damage resistance, bludgeoning, piercing, slashing. We get the rage damage. It's a little bit of damage. It's not great. We get the strength advantage, so we have advantage on strength checks and saving throws. That's important. And we can't concentrate on spells. We've got a duration, lasts until the end of our next turn. We can extend it. So we get, we can extend it by making an attack roll, forcing an enemy to make a saving throw, or we can take a bonus action. We want to keep our rage going. Obviously, that's our main shtick. Then we also get unarmored defense, so we can add our constitution and dexterity. We can use a shield and still gain this benefit. Okay. Weapon masteries, obviously these are super important. We get weapon masteries with 2 kinds of simple or martial weapons. We're going to go ahead and take that. And then we might get more later on. We get danger sense. That gives us an advantage on all dexterity saving throws. That's pretty good. We get reckless attack, so we can throw aside our defense. So when we make our first attack roll on a turn, we can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives advantage on attack rolls using strength until the start of the next turn, but attack rolls against you have advantage during that time. So now we are finally at 3rd level where we're going to get Path of the Titan. So we get Rage of Giants at 3rd level. Your rage taps into the primal power of giants. Whenever you activate your rage, you are smaller than large, you become large. Your equipment grows to match your size. If there's not enough room for you to become large, you do not grow. So you have to make sure you got enough room. But while you are large, your carrying capacity doubles. Now, this is why I highlighted this. You have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. So you get that anyway when you activate your rage. I don't know why they repeated that here, but they did. However, the next little bit is one of the important parts. It's one of the 2 main features for this class, this subclass, that really make it worth it. So your attacks with weapons or unarmed strikes deal 1 additional die of damage. And it gives a couple of examples. Great sword, instead of dealing 2d6, deals 3. And a great axe, instead of dealing 1d12, deals 2d12. That's super important. I would rather have a weapon with a big damage die. So if we're going from 2d6 to 3d6, we're going from an average of about 7 points of damage to an average of about 10 or 11. Whereas with the Great Axe, I'm going from 6.5 to 13. So that is the difference. You just kind of look at that statistically. So there's a couple of weapons that I really like for this class. We are going to talk about that. Either the Lance, because it has topple, it has reach, it is two-handed, or we're going to be talking about the Pike. It's got push, it's heavy, reach, two-handed. It's a D10. The Lance is a D10. The Great Axe is the only D12. But if we take a D10, we're going to be going from a 5.5 to a 10 or 11, which is the same as the going up with the Greatsword. The Greatsword does graze, which is a horrible, that's a horrible mastery. So I would rather have a mastery that definitely does something good. Lance and Pike both. If you want, you could take the Maul. That goes up a little bit in damage, and you get the topple effect, but it is what it is. So those are some good weapons to use with this Rage of Giants giant weapon that you're going to get. Now, so those are all pretty good. That does complement your Rage pretty well. It complements Reckless Attack really well. I think those are all good. We get this Primal Knowledge stuff at 3rd level as well. Don't really care about that. Get our feat. Take a feat at 4th level always, or our ability score, whether you want it or not. You get your extra attack at 5th level. You get your fast movement at 5th level. And then at 6th level, we are going to get Crushing Steps. As part of your movement, you can move through the space of any creature with a size smaller than you. So this is your movement, meaning it is any movement, which is great. So we can move through the space of any creature with a size smaller than us. So if we're raging, we're large at this point. If they are medium or small, we can move through their space. An enemy whose space you move through must succeed on a strength saving throw. We hate strength saving throws, but it is what it is. So they got to succeed on a strength saving throw, which is going to be 8 plus your strength modifier plus your proficiency bonus. At level 6, that's probably going to be, your strength is probably going to be a +4, so it'll probably be an 18. So this will be probably a 14, around there. So if they fail, they're going to have the prone condition, and they lose the ability to take reactions until the start of the next turn. So you can keep moving. That's what that really means. They're going to be prone, so they're going to have disadvantage on attack rolls because they're prone. And let's look at the prone condition. There it is right there, restricted movement. So they got to spend half their movement to stand up, and they have disadvantage on attack rolls, and attacks against them have advantage if we're within 5 feet. So that's a big deal. And they lose the ability to take reactions, which means they can't do opportunity attacks because it's a reaction. Now, you can run over someone and not go out of their reach. You can enter their space and not go out of their reach. You can just go from being in front of them to being in back of them. And they're not going to get an attack of opportunity if they make this saving throw. So, but you have a chance of doing this. And remember, this is as part of your movement. It's any movement whatsoever at all. So at 7th level and at 8th level, we're going to get another ability score. But at 7th level, we get our Feral Instinct. We have advantage on initiative rolls. We get our Instinctive Pounce as part of a bonus action you take to enter your rage. You can move up to half your speed. That is a big, giant deal right there. So here's some extra movement right there. So you as part of your bonus action you take to enter your rage, you enter the rage, you get bigger, and you move up half your speed, and you get your Crushing Steps. So we immediately go forward and start bowling things over, knocking them prone if we want. Then we can use our action to attack. That is pretty massive. We also get our 8th level stuff. And then we get our, which is, an ability score or an increase to our strength. I almost always take a +2 to one of my attributes. So I would take a +2 to strength. At level 9, we get Brutal Strike. So if we use the Reckless Attack, we can not take the advantage. And then we can choose one of these two things. Forceful blow. The target is pushed 15 feet away from you. You can move. Remember, I said any movement. You can then move up to half your speed straight towards the target without provoking attacks. So you can hit them. You can knock them 15 feet away. You can move right to them. You can go right past them because you've got fast movement now. You can knock them prone, and they cannot take reactions if they fail their saving throw. And then other than forceful blow, you can hamstring them. You can reduce their speed by 15 feet. The target can be affected by only one hamstring at a time. So that is a thing that you can do. All right, so at 10th level, we get Titanic Strikes. When you use your Brutal Strike feature, so that's that level 9 thing that we just talked about. When you use your Brutal Strike feature, the distance the target is pushed by your forceful blow is doubled. So now that's not 15 feet, it's 30 feet. You may not be able to get to them. You can move them up to, so it says the target is pushed 15 feet away from you. This is now doubled. You really don't get a choice. The distance you target is pushed is doubled. It doesn't say can be, it says is. So that means it's more. So it's 30 feet. You may not be able to get to them. And the speed of the target struck by your hamstring blow is reduced to 0. So this is a big deal. So hamstring blow normally reduces the speed to 15 feet until the start of your next turn. Now it goes to 0. And if you knock them prone because you move over them and they fail that saving throw, they cannot stand up. They are stuck. Okay? All right. At level 11, we get Relentless Rage. So we can keep going even if we drop to 0. At level 13, we get Improved Brutal Strike. So we get Staggering Blow. The target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes and cannot make opportunity attacks until the start of your next turn. So you can go Staggering Blow, disadvantage on the strength saving throw, run them over, knock them prone. Or you can do Sundering Blow. Before the start of your next turn, the next attack roll made by another creature against the target gains a +5 bonus to hit. That doesn't really go along with the Path of the Titan. The Staggering Blow does. So these things all very much complement it. And then at level 14, we get Rage of Titans. Whenever you activate your Rage, if you are smaller than huge, you become huge. So now we're going from medium to huge instead of large. Our equipment grows with us. If you don't have enough room, you don't get to go to be huge. It's just that easy. While you are huge, your carrying capacity triples. Your reach increases by 5 feet. So that's pretty good. You have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws. You got that anyway. And your attacks with your weapons or unarmed strikes deal 2 additional dice of damage. So again, a great sword instead of doing 2d6 does 4d6. A great axe does, instead of doing 1d12, does 3d12. So again, remember those weapons that we talked about, lance or the pike, those are now going to do 3d10 damage. Plus, our Brutal Strike is going to do an extra d10 damage there if you hit with it. So that there is that. And now also, we're doing extra damage because of Rage of Titans. And we have reach. We have more reach. It increases by 5 feet. So if we have a pike or a lance, which are reach weapons, then it goes from another 5 feet to another 10 feet, which is massive. So all in all, I really like this class. Now, at 15th level, we get Persistent Rage. So when you roll initiative, you can regain all expended uses of your rage. At 17th level, you get Improved Brutal Strike. So we're doing another 2d12. In addition, you can use 2 different Brutal Strike effects. And that totally is massive and complements and integrates well with the Path of the Titan. We get Indomitable Might at 18th level. So if your total for a strength check or strength saving throw is less than your strength score, you can adjust it there. Epic Boon, all that stuff. So do I like this? I like this a lot. I think there is a modicum of control with this, particularly with Crushing Steps. Do I think it's going to do as much damage as, say, the Berserker? Probably not. So the Berserker in here, I think the Path of Berserker is probably the one that's going to do the most damage. This one's it's going to start to compete with it, but not as much. So what grade are we going to give this? I am going to give this one a straight B. I would play this. As far as my kind of grading scheme that I would use, I think that this one complements the abilities of the base abilities of the Barbarian very well, especially when you combine the crushing steps with all the extra movement that the Barbarian gets for the various things that they do. And again, to highlight what those are, we've got the Instinctive Pounce. So as a bonus action, you enter your rage and you can move up to half your speed. So you can do that once. As part of your bonus action, you take to enter your rage. You do that at the beginning of combat. And then also when you do some of this brutal strike stuff where you can forceful blow and then move up to half your speed. So you could definitely do that. And then when you're moving, you can also do it. So I would give the Path of the Barbarian, the Path of the Titan Barbarian, I would definitely give it a B. All right, that is the video that I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.